Hi, I'm Ashley Harwood. In this video, I would like to discuss the design process in woodturning. I'll be exploring several of my own design ideas in bud vases. Let's get started. Design is something that I get asked about frequently. It can seem like an elusive thing. It can feel overwhelming to look at a piece that's really well designed and think, I have no idea how they came up with that. I think of design more as an evolving, iterative process rather than a thing that springs into your mind out of nowhere. It would be easy to fall back on someone else's formula to instantly solve all of your design woes, and it takes a bit more work to develop and fine-tune your own aesthetic senses. But I believe that the latter is the best way to find your own craftsperson voice, and definitely the most fulfilling. It starts with inspiration, then ideation, execution, self-critique, and finally revision. These last three steps, execution, critique, and revision, are repeated until it feels right. There's nothing wrong with drawing inspiration from others. In fact, this can be a very useful place to start. And the replication process is definitely one way to hone your technical skills. However, I would avoid replicating the work of other artists when you endeavor to create your own products or your own brand or your own creative identity. Keeping an inspirational catalog of things that pique your own aesthetic interests can be a great habit to get into, whether it's woodturning or any other medium. I often draw inspiration from forms in glass or metal. Before I begin turning, I like to sketch out my ideas. I probably won't create every idea I sketch, and these sketches do not have to be masterpieces, but it's easier to work out proportions on paper and in 2 dimensions than it is to experiment with 3 dimensions. When developing a specific product, such as an ornament or bud vase, I find it makes sense to create a 3-dimensional rough draft or a prototype on the lathe. Once I've decided on a few sketches to bring to reality, I choose some inexpensive, unremarkable wood to create these out of. I might create 3 or 4 that look similar, but with small variations in order to determine which ones I like best. With these bud vases, I feel like the best approach is to prepare all of the blanks before I start shaping any of them. This allows me to get into more of a flow when I'm turning, rather than have to stop and prepare each one as I go. I will also wait until later to sand and finish these pieces for the same reason. I am not using templates or calipers at this stage, not to say that you couldn't, but to a degree, I am letting my eye judge what looks best and have my drawing nearby as a reference. There are a couple of different types of wood I'm using here, walnut and sycamore. Both are kiln dried. I would like to give a big thank you to my sponsors for this video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with tons of inspiring classes for curious and creative people. Learn something totally new or develop your existing interests. Get lost in your own creativity. I've been checking out Video for Instagram with instructor LAETTNER vase. To learn how to tell engaging stories through video in less than 1 minute, because that can be kind of tricky. Skillshare offers a membership with meaning. You can connect with the support of fellow makers and creatives and enjoy a community of encouragement and inspiration. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link below this video in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. Remember, the idea here is to be able to line them all up and make decisions about forms. Which ones are successful and which ones are less successful. Where to make adjustments, whether one part needs to be a little thinner or fatter, less or more curvy, taller, shorter, etc. There's no need to be too precious with these. Honestly, I probably wouldn't sand these at all if we weren't making a video. One thing that I find helps when comparing different designs is to have certain themes that are consistent. In this case, I've got 2 sets of dimensions that I'm using. There's dimensions for a taller form and dimensions for a shorter form. You will also see, for example, that I have multiple variations of a spherical base with a tall, slender neck at the top. That makes it easier to compare specific elements of the design. Some are more simple, while some are a little more complex. Some are definitely more successful than others. But that's okay. This is about a process of exploration. I don't expect any of them to be perfect in this first run. Once I have chosen my favorites and made any adjustments to the designs that I think would improve them, I can either make them again out of scrap wood to be sure, or go ahead and make them out of something more special. I have chosen live oak, chestnut, and cherry for these. For the live oak piece, I decided the body of the piece should be a little taller proportionally and a little more rounded at the top. I have to say I'm quite happy with how these turned out. Of course, there are always different variations that I want to try, and that's part of the joy of being an artisan. Your work is never really completely finished. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I do hope that you'll hit subscribe. And don't forget to hit the little notifications bell to make sure that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Also, don't forget to check out all the links down below this video. I would like to give a big thank you to my Patreon members. Your support really goes a long way in helping us to continue to produce high-quality videos and photos for all of the social media accounts. Thank you so much. If you would like a behind-the-scenes look at what's going on in my business, or if you would like a heads up before the general public about when I'm going to be hosting my next classes, head on over to the Patreon page. Again, the links are down below. And I'd like to give an extra big shout out to my top tier patrons: Charles Saki, Chris Cairns, Dalby Roan, Duke Bloy, Jeffrey Bishop, Jim Tate, John McDevitt, Chris Jones, Randy Owens, Robert Hunt, aka Mr. Bodog, Stephen Roberts, Steve Snyder,
Andrew Nidell, Andrew Movius, Patrick Walker, and Richard Swoboda. Thank you so much. That's all for this video. I will see you guys next time.